Hey guys, it's Miss Vaughn again, and I'm ready to show you the next step in writing your snapshot goals. Today we're specifically looking at the 4C. So the 4C should really ring a bell with you. It's something we've been talking about at Sage for a long time through project-based learning. The difference is now that you are choosing a 4C goal that is going to meet what you need to accomplish for yourself and also meet the content and the outcome that you are trying to achieve. So, again, all of our goals are aligned. They all have to connect back to our content and what we're doing. And with our 4C, we're thinking about whether or not I want to be a more effective communicator. Do I want to focus on creativity, critical thinking, or collaboration? So think about an area that maybe doesn't come as naturally to you or as easy to you. Those are always good places for goals because then you can really self-reflect and think about what it is that you need to work on and set a goal for yourself so that you can get better in that area while still connecting it to our content and our outcome. So I've got our handy dandy blueprint page open. I'm under the plan section and I'm going to scroll down to the 4Cs. These should all look familiar if you've been at Sage since kindergarten. And I'm going to think about what it is that I want to do with my project and what it is that I need to work on. I've got my big categories here. And again, we've got these subcategories in blue. So if I read through those and I think about what it is that I'm doing, I'm studying veterinary medicine and how it affects dogs with canine cancer. My hope is that I can improve on this. So I might come up with an idea that helps dogs deal with cancer, or maybe even helps their owners deal with that. But I'm studying that so that I can improve upon it. So when I look at my subcategories here under my 4Cs, ooh, this sticks out to me. I know that I want to develop something new. So under critical thinking, I have synthesizing research and ideas to develop something new. Under creativity, I know that I'm going to see a lot of original ideas, new way, a new innovation. And again, I really want to make veterinary medicine more effective on dogs that are suffering with cancer. So that might be a good place to start too. If I look under communication, I have means of connection between people. I'm really talking about veterinary medicine, the interactions between veterinary medicine and dogs. I'm not sure that that's my best focus. I might add a communication goal later, depending on who I talk to or who I share my ideas with. I'm seeing using a variety of tools to discuss ideas and progress together. This is an independent project. So again, I'm not sure who I'm sharing my ideas with yet, but I know that these up here sound more like what I want to do when I'm thinking about creating something new. Collaboration, I am pretty good at that. I collaborate pretty well with my blueprint team, and so I know I can always grow in this area, but it isn't something that I want to focus on for my project. I know that I always want to improve, making sure that I'm giving good feedback to my students, but that's not the focus of my goal for this project. These are kind of things that I'm going to be thinking about in the back of my mind, but it isn't the main focus or choice for what I'm interested in my project. So I'm going to start with this critical thinking. I tend to be thought of as a pretty creative person. I can think of lots of good ideas and I have a vision for where I want to go. So this seems a little easier for me than critical thinking. And again, like I said, a goal should be something that you don't have mastered yet. So I'm going to look at critical thinking, specifically this category of synthesizing research and ideas to develop something new. I need some more information on that though. I need to know what that looks like. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to open up the critical thinking rubric because that's what that was under. So the cool thing about the 4C rubrics are there's tons of information. So I know that I'm under critical thinking, and it just so happens that we have the same rubric for 5th and 6th grade. So it doesn't matter what grade you're in, you're a blueprinter, and we're all kind of focusing on the same thing at the same time. If I'm not really sure what critical thinking means, in this yellow box, it explains it. So it says look at problems in a new way and link learning within and across disciplines. So that means I'm going to take what I'm learning about veterinary medicine and canines, and I might be able to apply that to humans too. Reflect and analyze and evaluate evidence, arguments, claims, and beliefs to draw conclusions. So I'm going to look at the research that I'm evaluating about how dogs' systems are affected by medicine and see if I can't draw a conclusion or draw an idea about what can be improved. Be open to reconsider and revise thinking when presented with alternative points of view. That's just something that's super important for all of us. We tend to know exactly where we want to end up on our roadmap or in our snapshot, and so this is a good one to think about. Like, if I want to be more open minded, if I am someone who jumps to a product, this is a really good thing to focus on, a good goal to focus on to make sure that I am being open to changing my ideas as I learn more information. So I think I'm in the right place so far. If I decide that I'm not, I can go back and I can look at that creativity rubric where I saw some other things that matched my thinking and see if there's a better fit. But I'm going to continue to explore this critical thinking rubric first. The cool thing about the 4C rubrics is that it's broken up into these major categories. So on the left-hand side in these gray boxes, I have information and discovery, interpretation and analysis, reasoning, and problem solving and solution finding. So again, I want to think about what it is I'm exploring. I'm exploring veterinary medicine and how the treatment of how treatment in canine cancer is affecting the systems of those dogs in the hopes that I can develop something new. Now, uh, this is a rubric, so it's going to tell you kind of a score. I'm assuming that none of us really want to aim for a 1 or a 2. So a really good place to start is this 3 column to pay attention to what is proficient. So this means as a 5th and 6th grader, if I'm really good at critical thinking and information and discovery, I can do all of these things. So let's focus on the 3 category first, this 3 column first, because that gives me a good place to start. Now, if I read something and I'm like, oh, I always can explain a problem or a challenge really clearly. I can explain it in several different ways. I can explain it to several different people. I might look over here to the 4 column to see if I can level up my goal. But the 3 column is a really good place to start. So again, thinking about what it is that I want to do and still being open to doing new things. And I scroll through these categories and I scroll through my column 3. I'm going to look for key phrases. So like right now, that's a lot to look at, right? So I might just look at the first part before there's a comma or a semicolon. So it creates additional questions related to the problem. That's a good goal for us all too. So sometimes when we're doing research, we forget to ask follow-up questions. So that could be something that I focus on as a critical thinking goal. And I could read the next part of here. I do that with minimal support, or I revise my questions, or identify a key question. If those are things that you don't do, that's a good goal for you. If you're not following up your research with additional questions, then maybe that's what you need to focus on. Again, we have conducting efficient research and gathering relevant information from multiple sources. How many of us just look at one source and take the information from that as true? That's a bad habit, and that's something that all of us can be working on, so that could be a super cool goal that we have. Again, with kind of starting to assess the credibility of a source. Is this source trustworthy? Is it supporting what I want to do? So as I scroll through my column 3 in each category, I want to find something that I know I need to work on, but also matches with what I'm trying to do. I can also look for the keywords that are in my snapshot, like systems or interactions or evaluate, and see if anything sticks out to me here. Again, my goal, excuse me, is to try to make a solution, something that's better than what's currently happening with veterinary medicine. So I think that I'm going to look in this problem solving and solution finding category, and I'm going to focus on the 3 side. That gives me a good place to start. So I have explains ideas about how to best solve a problem, meet the challenge or answer the inquiry question, and clearly describes why their ideas make sense. I'm pretty good at talking about the problem and the challenge that I'm trying to face. What I'm trying to work towards is solving that problem. So let's see what's next. Uses systems thinking. Oh, systems connects to my content and to my world-class outcome. So let's see if that's something that I need. Uses systems thinking and problem solving, which means that I'm going to describe the function of the whole system, name all of the parts, describe the function of each part, and predicts what would happen if a part is missing, and is beginning to describe the subsystems. Wow, that is a lot. That is a mouthful. But I do know a couple things. I'm not entirely sure what that means yet, but I do see a couple things that stick out to me. Systems thinking, which is connected to my content and my world-class outcome. So that gives me a good idea that I might be on the right track. Ooh, and I see that word function. I see the word function in my content too. So I'm thinking about how different things are impacting the parts, and I can describe what's going to happen if something is missing. Okay? I don't want to miss out on what else is in this category either before I make up my mind. So I'm testing ideas. With assistance, assesses and explains the outcome, is beginning to show ability to assess results and decide if a new solution is necessary. When I look at these 3 options, I feel like I'm pretty good in this one. So I'm generally pretty good at describing what my questions are. I can talk to anyone about the challenge or what I'm trying to solve. I already have a really good handle on that. So I'm not going to select what's here. When I look at use systems, thinking and problem solving, and I'm looking at describing how each part is affected and how each function is going to be impacted by the treatment of canine cancer, I feel like I'm already going to be doing that through my content and my world-class outcome. So while I don't know that I can do this yet, I think I'm going to be achieving it through these 2 goals. So I want to make sure that I'm stepping up something that is challenging for me. And that's going to be test ideas. Design thinking is something that I love, and it's something that I practice all the time, and I think it's really important to use as we go through our process through our own projects. But you know what I never quite get to is that testing idea stage. So that sounds like something to me that would be a good goal, because I never quite get there, and it's definitely something I think that I could be better at. So I'm going to take this little section, and I'm going to copy it. I'm going to put it in my snapshot. Okay? So when I read that, it certainly doesn't sound like something I would write, and I'm not even sure I fully understand it. So now our next step is to make sure that we are revising this so it's something that we can understand. It's important that we understand it so that we can own it. When we understand it, we can own it, and then it's meaningful to us. And when it's meaningful to us, we know exactly how to tackle it. We know exactly what we need to do to get there. So this is with assistance, which means I'm going to need some help in this, and that's okay. If I don't think I needed some help, I could look over in my category 4 and add with little assistance. But this is new for me. Like I said, I don't test my ideas very often. I get to my prototype, and that's usually kind of it. So I know I'm going to test ideas with assistance, assesses and explains the outcome, is beginning to show the ability to assess results and decide if a new solution is necessary. So I want to think about the most important things here that make sense to me, the words that make sense to me, the things that I think are important. So I'm going to highlight those. Tests, like we've talked about, because I never quite get there. Assesses, that seems like a pretty important word. I've got to determine if my test is working or not. okay? So I could do assesses or I could do assess results. That one makes more sense to me. So I'm looking at whether or not my idea is working and decide if a new solution is necessary. So just like Ms. Goings taught you in seminar, I'm going to take my most important words and I'm going to put them over here, just for now, okay? And I'm going to try to rewrite this as a goal that includes the most important parts, but also connects to my outcome or my content, specifically my content, because that's what gives me my drive and my focus. So with goals, I'm going to start all of them with I will be able to, and as I'm reading this, I know that I need to change my outcome up here. There we go. So down here now, I will be able to, so I've got tests, assess results, and new solutions. So what is it that I'm testing? What results am I looking at to see if I achieved? And what is my new solution about? So again, I'm looking at multiple systems and how those systems are affected within a dog that is being treated with cancer. So I've got to combine all of that thinking. So I will be able to test. What am I testing? I'm testing my ideas on how to improve the treatment of canine cancer. So I've got my tests done, so I can get rid of that. I still need to talk about how I'm assessing those results. So assessing is making sure that those results are working. If I wasn't quite sure what that word means, I could come up here and find some synonyms or some definitions to define that word for me. Ooh, determine really sticks out to me. That word makes sense. So I will be able to test my ideas on how to approve the treatment of cancer and determine, and what am I determining? I'm determining if a new solution is necessary. And I'm going to connect that to my content again. I will be able to test oh, that is not even close. I will be able to test my ideas on how to improve the treatment of canine cancer and determine if a new solution to treat canine cancer is necessary. You know, as I look back at this 4C goal, what is really, when I look at new solution, what they're really talking about is if my own solution is necessary. I'm already going to have determined whether or not a new treatment is necessary because I'm coming up with ideas. I think it's going to be, right? So I will be able to test my ideas on how to improve the treatment of canine cancer and determine if a new solution is necessary. So I'm going to say, let me change this a little bit and determine if I need to change my idea for a solution. Because this is really about me being open-minded and changing what it is that I am doing, okay? So I've got my keywords. I had tests, I have assessed results, but I've reworded it so I made sense. And I've talked about how I'm finding a new solution if my test results don't come back like I want, right? Which is usually the case the first time, okay? So right here in front of my goal, I want to make sure that I have remembered and told myself what it is that I'm doing. So I'm doing critical thinking, and I'm doing problem solving and solution finding. So I've got all that big picture stuff, and I'm going to reread this and make sure I understand what I'm going to do. I will be able to test my ideas on how to improve the treatment of canine cancer and determine if I need to change my idea for a solution. So just like we did with our content and our world-class outcome, I've left all the most important parts of my 4C goal, but I've combined it with something that matters to me and is connected to my outcome and my content. So when I have my first draft of this goal, I'm going to make sure that I seek feedback from facilitators or peers. And if there's anything I can change to make it better, I can do that.